This is all my opinion. This is all my opinion. This is all my opinion. Let's get into it. So I want to preface this video by saying that I will not be providing names, references, or links in this video to any nefarious material that may be involved. Unfortunately, I have to reference that they exist, but the information was already made public by a ton of prominent names involved, so it'd feel like a disservice to not mention them. I wanted to make this video to provide a concise timeline of events of the situation, along with my takes on the background information and the internet's reaction to it all. A lot of the information is scattered across X, YouTube, and whatnot, so why not have it tightly wrapped up in a bow for everyone to see? And boy, is it a doozy. On the morning of January 20th, 2025, Pixie released a statement on X or Twitter alleging that Destiny had non-consensually sent her nudes and that she'd be suing him in federal court. Her response details the situation at hand, her feelings on what happened, and what she plans to do, and apparently the story goes like this. A while back, Destiny had gotten in contact with an OnlyFans model, attempting to have sex with her in person. In the process of this, Destiny sends a series of pornographic content of himself, including several other people involved, one of them being Pixie, presumably as a way to court this random girl who he'd barely known for some time. This OnlyFans model then gets hacked or leaks the content to an account on Kiwi Farms, to which this account then posts it onto a thread for all to see. She goes on to say that this will cause irreparable damage to her reputation and mental health, simply by the fact that they will always exist in some way or another on the internet. And so because of that, she plans to take matters into her own hands, to sue Destiny for an incredibly damaging sum of money. In her eyes, this path is the ultimate solution to get him to stop this from happening in the future, or at the very least, to leave a memorable scar on his wallet and reputation. Pixie then ends her statement with this: "Let me be clear. Destiny has violated federal law in his transgressions against me. He has violated my consent and is directly responsible for the sexual abuse I have received. I am terrified." She adds a link to her fundraiser for the lawsuit and then couples this with 3 hyperlinks, which lead to 3 images. These images in order show Discord DMs between Pixie and Destiny, in which he apologizes for his actions, attempts to help in some way by paying for a couple bills, and then attempts to console her in the most out-of-touch way possible when she declines. I'll let the messages play for themselves if you'd like to read. Several hours later, Destiny releases an official statement on his subreddit, going over his perspective on the situation and what he saw to be the best course of action in handling this. He goes on to mention personal gripes that other people have towards him that are currently involved in the situation, people like Lauren De Laguna. He shows DMs between himself and Straighterade, someone who was initially close to Pixie during this ordeal, in which they try to discuss some form of compensation for Pixie. And he concludes it by mentioning that he feels hurt by the angle that people publicly, Pixie included, are painting this as malicious or revenge porn. As a matter of fact, this response addresses a lot of things, except for one really important question. Did you do it? Did you send these videos? You need to address that directly. At no point was this question ever directly addressed in this response. My question is why? Did you forget? Is it to obfuscate the situation? To make people confused about whether it's true or not? I don't want to have to infer from your DMs or only hear it from Pixie. You say you're remorseful, but yet you fail to address the thing that you're remorseful for. This whole response was a travesty. And it's not even because it felt rushed, it felt pointless. He has a whole paragraph where he talks about the person who hosted the lawsuit fundraiser being someone that he had rejected sexual advances from prior in the year. Why is this a part of this response? And why does it matter? He doesn't even follow up with anything else, he just throws it in there. For what? There's no point in putting into question the intentions behind why they made the fundraiser. You could literally turn everybody around Pixie into the most biased villains around, and they'd still be all valid in helping her if this is what she wanted to pursue. These third-party motives he's referring to are irrelevant. He says he feels frustrated, hurt, and concerned by all of this talk of financial punishment as if there's hidden intentions behind why or what this punishment is for. But does it really matter? She made it abundantly clear why she was suing you. To punish you. It's not about money for her, it's about money not for you. That's about as upfront as you can get about your intentions. Whatever she does with the money afterwards, I don't care. She can spend it on a mansion, crack, a yacht, and it still doesn't take away from the fact that she openly said this suit was to hurt your pockets. Clear as day. I was objectively harmed by the situation and was actively seeking to find a resolution that worked well for everyone. I have been trying to move on from covering drama content, as it has had an increasingly negative impact on those in my life. Little notions like these are sprinkled throughout the response, and it feels so unbelievably tone deaf and out of place. Pixie's griefs are the ones being discussed right now, especially since it came as a result of your goonery. How dare the internet inconvenience Steven with this goislot, this drama content? Can't you just let the guy goon in peace? Let him goon, for God's sake. He ends his Reddit post by saying that he does not believe he has violated any laws, and because Pixie has made her goals clear, that he leave the legal filings to speak for themselves. This response was a tap dance. He's dancing, pussyfooting, and it seems like most of the community and the rest of the internet felt the same way. With all this talk about not being able to answer questions and legal roadblocks, people were looking for anything at this point. But if Destiny wouldn't be able to speak on it too much, then where do you look? Not So Aidite and Dan Saltman are two of Destiny's closest business partners, but more importantly, open friends. They each have shows with Destiny and have likely dumped tons of their own money into each of their respective projects. They have a horse in this race, and have a reason to want him to face as little repercussions as possible, because any bad action he commits will reflect badly on their business. And sure, they might feel bad for her, but it seems like they're willing to compromise morals in exchange for money. Let's explore why. Aidite has been involved behind the scenes, beginning when she initially asked Pixie if she was okay following the leaks. At this point, Aidite was already aware that the leaks were sourced from Destiny, and so she offered comfort and an opportunity to vent. These talks culminated into topics of penance and what exactly Pixie hopes to do with Steven, punishment-wise. It should be noted that at no point did Aidite attempt to dissuade any legal course of action. However, she did advise that asking Destiny for 6 or 7 figures would not be a good idea. Her final thoughts conclude with her acknowledging that Steven did do something wrong, but that she knows that he feels incredibly remorseful and is trying everything in his power to do everything right. Which is okay to believe? But I ask you, why do you continue working with him? Or better, where do you draw the line? After the public's initial reaction to her response, Aidite calls into a Turkey Tom stream to talk more in detail about how she was in contact with Pixie and to try to clear up why she chose to continue working with Destiny. However, she fails to do this completely, and her response confused me rather than clarified anything. At one point, she mentions that the line she would have drawn would have been if he had recorded Pixie non-consensually, but that sending it non-consensually is less bad because he knows he's wrong and is trying to solve it?
If he recorded somebody without their knowledge and sent it out, like I don't think I can, like I don't know what to do. I don't think I can work with. Like that's a line I can't. I don't fuck with that shit. Like that's insane. A pretty hard line for me is like if somebody does it according to somebody else, that's a pretty hard line for me.
Right. Well, even outside of the recording, I mean, the question of what, whether or not the recording was consented to, the spreading around certainly wasn't from your perspective. Is that enough to draw a line 100%.
Or no? It's not for me. The issue is that what was a line for me before, I was like, okay, if she did consent to the recording but not to the spreading around, which I'm assuming that she hadn't, then I said, what matters to me is like how he responds. Is he trying to fix it? Is he being remorseful? Is he like reaching out to her to like find some level of solution?
This makes no sense. This is babble. And she's had time to think about it, man. He could feel sorry and try to solve things in this other scenario too. This doesn't matter. Why are you choosing to draw the line here, but not here? What's the difference? They both would result in the same thing. This line feels drawn out of convenience. Aidite, you need to address this better, or not at all. I would have hoped to see her maybe go into more detail on the stream, but Tom didn't really press her the right way, or even really ask her the right questions, and he kind of let her weasel through it, so she got away from it for now. Moving on to Dan. Jesus Christ. This guy's insane, this guy is psychotic, and this guy is focused on the wrong things. He initially made a brief appearance on the Turkey Tom stream that was happening the day of the response, and he pretty much said that he didn't know too many of the details, but that in conversations with Pixie, he told her she could do what she wanted. He made a couple of awkward jokes, none of which landed, and left. However, I wouldn't be talking about Dan's response if that's where it ended. A couple days following the statement's release, he went on stream, later changing it to members only, where he talked more in depth about the internet's reaction to the nuke. I'm gonna let the clips play for themselves, just so you can see the deplorable statements that he proceeded to make on this topic. Fucking roll it, man.
He knows he fucked up, he's acknowledged it, and he's gonna get the consequences of whatever the fuck it is moving forward. That's it, right? Like, whatever happens, like, I don't feel bad for Steve of what happens to Steve. I feel bad for the people that were harmed as a result of his actions. So that's that. That said, I'll say to my fellow orbiters or co-workers, as Max Mr. Girl, the guy who literally had his fucking girlfriend crying on screen, the one who basically said he literally someone with his wife or something along those lines. What is that? Like, you know, he kept when they said no. Is that what it is? Or Hassan Piker, who denies any fucking rapes happened. You have zero fucking credibility to stand on anything, okay? I don't give it. Like, for you, Steven would have to everyone that was at October, right? That festival, for him to be on the level of what you are. If you're some fucking one of my coworkers out there and you're making your little bit of a strong statement about how much you condemn Destiny and everything else, you better not let me fucking find you doing something else and signing some other bullshit off for someone else or you know, being weak. Because if that's gonna be the case, either be all the way fucking in or all the way fucking out. All these half in the door motherfuckers, too much of a pussy to do anything else. Like, I get it, fine. If you're a content creator, you rely on this for your fucking life, then fine. Then fuck off. Then say that Destiny's a fucking pervert, all that type of shit, and fucking go away forever. And fuck off permanently. Any of these motherfuckers try to come back in after they've done their little strong fucking weasel statement doing it, fuck that noise. I don't give a shit if it's supposed to be like, oh, well, you know, what were they supposed to do in this situation? How about, you know, I don't know, being a fucking, like, being a person and understanding that, like, bad people do bad shit. You know what I would do if my kid fucking someone? I would be like, I got you, don't worry, I'm gonna help you the best I can, and we're not going to the cops. And we're not saying shit. And if they come here, I'm gonna get you the best lawyer, and you were with me the whole fucking time. I'm not abandoning Steve, and I'm not changing my life for it, because Steve has made, like, not even that he's made assurances to me, but just that these things are not things that are going to happen again. I know that for a fact, and I know that he is a good person that has better things to offer to the world versus trying to get rid of him forever, right?
Yo, what the fuck are you doing? So much anger and rage for the people who were supposedly running victory laps or who were conspiring behind the scenes. How about anger for your business partner, your friend, who put himself and other people who trusted him in a reputation-ruining position? How do you have the balls to get mad at Hassan for shamelessly running victory laps when you shamelessly defend your friend as he's caught doing some heinous shit? If Hassan was your friend, you would defend him. That's what I'm getting from this stupid rant. Because you don't have a spine. You don't have principles. You would in the same breath wave away a murder as you would condemn someone for it.
You guys don't know him like I do. We need him around. And look at all these other people, these vultures, trying to milk the situation for lol W's. Why are we talking about our fuck-ups and not theirs?
Wait, fuck.
This response was career-ending for this guy. Why would you say this with your mouth? Just shut the fuck up, dude. You talking made it so much worse than I could have ever even imagined. If I was Destiny, I would kill you. I felt humiliated watching that. And I'm not even in this. So update, it's been uploaded as its own video onto their podcast channel. Why? That's about as far as the story goes until more information gets sprinkled throughout or until all the legal proceedings proceed. As far as the stragglers go, I'll address them briefly since I think they're worth mentioning. President Sunday is a piece of shit. For those who may not know, his video came out before Pixie's official statement, which prompted her to release it sooner than she may have wanted to. I don't understand why he felt the need to release this information at all without the consent of Pixie, worse yet, before her. I saw this comment he made saying that the reason he came out with this info early was to give all victims a fair shot of hearing their cases, since in his eyes, only one victim receiving a payout for her silence doesn't seem fair. However, my question is, who are you to decide what retribution these people should earn, and why are you releasing information when you knew one of the victims were uncomfortable with this coming out? That's cool you're defending the victims, but they didn't want to be in a position to defend themselves. You're not a lawyer, you're not a PI, you're a YouTuber. Stop trying to beat the victim to the punch on their own fucking story. Straighteraid is a horrible friend, acquaintance, minion. I don't know who she's loyal to. I don't think she does either. She's messaging Pixie trying to get her to find a punishment for Destiny, while DMing Destiny on how he can help her, while DMing President Sunday about all of the details regarding both of their conversations. Don't ever vent to this retard about anything private, because chances are 14 other people have probably already heard of it within the next hour. Listen, here's my final take on this. From all the evidence presented recently, it appears that Destiny did in fact send private, pornographic content of Pixie without her consent. He refuses to address this directly, much less deny this action up front. And to me, this feels like an I plead the fifth moment. It doesn't look good at all, and it's looking like the allegations are true. The longer he fails to address this question, the worse it looks, and I can't continue to watch or support the guy in the future if this is what he is. I don't think a lot of people can either. And if this is as far as his public response goes, then I don't blame them for leaving. This isn't just negligence. You chose to send these images and videos knowing that the people in them probably wouldn't have agreed to it. Your apology seems like it only came after Pixie had already confronted you for it. So is there really any regret for what you did? Or is it just that you got caught? Where was this remorse when it happened initially? Did the people still in business with Destiny or still holding out for hope at this point? I don't see why. If he really did this, why would you stick around to beat the reputation hit? It would make sense if they were bought into the business so much that they couldn't afford to pull out, but they're not saying that. Dan has made his intentions very clear that he's here to stick around no matter what Destiny does. And Aidite is here to stay because apparently it's not as bad as recording someone non-consensually. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Maybe they feel bad for Pixie, maybe not, but they're sticking with Destiny, and that's been made very clear. I'd like to end this video with the phrase, what you justify for others, chances are, you're going to be justifying for yourself. It's like the old man said.
You are who you hang around, and your community is a reflection of not only what you believe, not just what you believe, but what you will tolerate, okay? I have suffered many a great financial harm and many a great mental harm, excising the fuck out of my community of people that I don't agree with. And if other people can't be held to those standards, if you're gonna sit there and cater to an audience full of insane fucking people, that says more about you than what you say about yourself.